Hey Cactus crew, thank you for tuning in, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Bill, welcome to my channel. Every Monday I delve into the archives of Without a Crystal Ball and I dig up one of her articles. Please give this video a like, consider subscribing, share and comment below if you have a suggestion for an article, let me know. I just want to stress that everything that I do say is my own opinion. Let's get into it. I'm reading this article, I want you to keep in mind these characteristics, these traits of a Munchausen by proxy mother. This is just allegedly from my own perspective. Katie may show signs of this. Someone who has Munchausen by proxy may purposely take action to make their child sick. They knowingly will expose the child to pain or risky medical procedures, even surgery. They may deliberately create symptoms in a child. They can do this by giving the child inappropriate medicines or withholding prescribed medicines. Creating these situations can put the child at extreme risk. Common illnesses or symptoms that caregivers, Munchausen by proxy victims, taking them to the doctor, the following: failure to thrive, ding, 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 nausea and vomiting, ding, 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 diarrhea, seizures, breathing difficulty and asthma, ding, 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 infections, allergic reactions, fevers of unknown origins, ding, 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 other illnesses that require emergency care. And you've got hydrocephalus and the shunt stops working. Or maybe it's from Toad yelling at him and it's caused him to have an adrenal crisis. Mothers are not discouraged by cost of medical treatments. They don't worry about how they will manage the bills. Instead, they believe driving up a large hospital bill reinforces the perception that they are doing everything they can for their child. They think others will see them as even better caregivers. So we're in 10th of January 2018, when you are the medical expert of your medically fragile child. Emergencies have become a standard activity that is littered throughout my day as a mother of a chronically ill child. I feel like I'm always putting out a fire that is creeping inside the body of my child, whether it's his gastroparesis flaring, making his stomach hurt, or giving him terrible gas, his asthma that decides to exacerbate, or his adrenal insufficiency that shows up under stress. I am moving through every day from one emergency to the next. I have had to learn how to become a nurse to my child, but I have no medical background, and everything I'm learning about his treatment is on the fly. Over the years, I feel like I have amassed the knowledge of human biology that some doctors don't even know. I keep waiting for an honorary medical diploma to show up in my mailbox. I'm still sitting here without any formal education.
I know exactly what issues will send him into crisis.
Translation:
I know exactly what to do to send my child into an adrenal crisis.
Which is basically turning a blind eye when Toad's going to town on him. Angry as hell, yelling. When we are in the hospital, I find it impossible to leave my son's side because I know more about his symptoms, disease management, and how his body responds to treatment than the nurses and doctors treating him. I find myself noticing changes before it's even on the radar of the expert. And I also see myself pushing for treatments, scans, labs, tests, and surgeries before a doctor even comes to that conclusion. I might not be medically trained, but I've spent the past 5 years walking with several diseases that are slowly killing my child. I've learned how to manage his endocrine, gastrointestinal, respiratory, cardiac, and autonomic systems with every day that passes. I know exactly what issues will send him into crisis, and I can anticipate changes in his health by merely watching how he moves, breathes, and behaves. How and why do you leave him suffering for days, prolonging taking him to the emergency? We're doing all that we can to avoid hospital. Why? Oh, why? So that when you do go to hospital, he's the sickest? Can't take him on day one of being sick. He's not sick enough. You wouldn't get enough pity. This knowledge often puts me in a precarious situation because I feel like I have to fight for experts to believe.
what I know to be a fact.
Holy shit.
I see their eyes glaze, the way they shake their heads in disagreement, and how they analyze studies or medical journals that tell them the opposite of what I'm saying. The difference between a medical mum and a doctor is we don't have to read medical studies or journals to know how the disease affects our child. We can see it in the way they move, act, breathe, eat, and interact with the world around them. No study will convince us what we see is inaccurate. We always anticipate crisis and health declines before it even registers on the chart of the doctor. By no means is this a slam on doctors, but there is a difference between treating a disease and living a disease. There is a significant difference between having a scientific connection and knowledge to the disease than there is to living the experience of the illness and seeing what it does to your child. Katie, you're not living it. You are witnessing it on the outside. You are saying that what you think is wrong with your child is what's wrong with your child. Then how the fuck did he go 3 years, 3.5 years with undiagnosed hydrocephalus? How, Katie? Because you wanted him to be the worst. You wanted him to be the worst. Most of our doctors like research, facts, and to see patterns of behaviour of the disease. All we need as parents are to look at our children slip further and further away from us each day. Are you playing God with your child, Katie? We are challenged to get the treatment we need for our children because many times the symptoms we see in our children are not consistent with the diseases that are being treated. Most of us have learned over the years that our children react differently, have unique symptoms, and sometimes don't follow typical patterns. This uniqueness makes it hard for many of us to get treatment, medications, or necessary surgeries to improve the health that is deteriorating before our eyes. We have to fight harder than most people to be heard because we don't have medical backgrounds. Yet we know that eventually someone will listen to what we're saying. We will prove to the experts
That we knew all along what needed to be done.
what needed to be done was your son needed a shunt within that first 6 months after the crash. You didn't take him to the doctor. Well, you did, but it was ear infection, ear infection, ear infection. My son's head is growing, but it's gotta be his ears. Oh, it's gotta be the asthma as well. Oh, he's just got a big head. I don't even know that it's growing. I can't even see it with my eyes. I've been up all night drinking mead with my husband, just me. Raising a child with a rare disease is profoundly complex for the parent. We are forced to learn disease management, take crash courses in biology, and learn how to advocate for medical care for our kids. Many of us didn't have any of these skills before we had kids, and all of us are learning these skills on the fly. Is it any wonder that many of us feel burnt out, stressed, angry, frustrated, overwhelmed, and hopeless? No. We have been put in the position where parenting isn't just about making sure our kids grow up to be productive adults, but instead we are making sure our kids do grow up and survive to be adults. Frequently, we are forced to make life and death decisions for our children. We face ongoing trauma and manage emergencies daily. We have little time for our interests, friends, and often our marriages suffer. We aren't making plans for holidays or getting excited about birthday parties because we know that wrenches seem to get thrown in anytime we plan. Instead of dreaming about our future, we are living day to day, and we are hoping, praying, and fighting to give our children the chance to become adults. Each day, most of us wake up and plan for a good day. Rarely, many of us have a day where everything goes as planned. Our kids tend to keep us on our toes, shock our systems, and remind us that their diseases are the ones that are in control. We miss out on parties, social events, and we watch our friendships dwindle. Despite the isolation we face and the sadness we deal with daily, we still manage to keep up a brave face for our children. As hard as it is to be in this world with our children, we know that this is where we are needed. We live tucked away from the world, and to make sure our children are safe from germs and illness. Our worlds are lived inside our deep cleaned homes, and our memories of our children are marked in cuddles, snuggles, games, and finding creative ways to keep them entertained. This life isn't always comfortable. It's not for the faint-hearted, but we all know that our kids need to live inside our little bubbles. So on your toughest days, remind yourself why you are making all the sacrifices you are making. Yes, it is hard to miss out on fun, lose friends, and find yourself alone most days. But all of these choices you are making are giving your child the chance to have a future. You are indeed the hero of your child's story. And never forget that you are doing this out of love and because you know that their lives are worth the pain, the fight, the energy needed to meet the goal. You are one of the strongest parents out there, and each day that you get through another day means you won for one more day. Celebrate the small victories, cherish the days where your child feels good, and pray that one day your child will become the adult you've always dreamt them to be. Keep on fighting, medical mamas. Keep on fighting. We are our child's only real expert on their team, and they need us by their sides. What a load of bull dang! Right up the MVP characteristics when the mother thinks that they know more than medical experts. Red flag central. Let me know your thoughts below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you next Monday for another article from the Without a Crystal Ball archives. Please take care out there, guys. See ya.